We begin with a fascinating revelation from a recent study published in The Lancet Planetary Health. This study, unprecedented in its scope and depth, delves into the alarmingly underreported issues that commonly arise in the aftermath of extreme weather conditions. Shedding light on a hitherto unexplored aspect, the study reveals a disturbing pattern of gender-based violence in the chaotic aftermath of calamitous meteorological events. With the spotlight firmly on this abhorrent trend, we are forced to confront uncomfortable realities. The study meticulously dissects the chain of circumstances that lead to the gross violation of human rights, particularly for women and girls who seem to be at the receiving end of a majority of these abuses. The researchers painstakingly analysed data from numerous weather-related disasters around the globe over the past 2 decades, revealing a continuous and escalating pattern of violence. As we delve deeper into the findings, the data shows an undeniable correlation between the frequency of floods, storms and droughts, and an increase in gender-based violence. In an era where climate change is a hot-button issue, the study has underscored how its repercussions go far beyond environmental degradation and economic loss, creeping into the arena of social justice and human rights. Women and girls in particular seem to bear the brunt of these negative impacts, finding themselves disproportionately affected by the fallout from these natural disasters. The study elucidates the various factors contributing to this alarming phenomenon. It points to gendered social roles and responsibilities, economic instability, and institutional neglect as primary catalysts. In many societies, women's and girls' roles and responsibilities are so entrenched that when a disaster strikes, their vulnerability to violence increases exponentially owing to various socio-economic factors. This, coupled with financial insecurity and a disturbingly evident lack of support from institutions meant to protect them, exacerbates the situation. Disturbingly, the study's findings also indicate that sexual and gender minorities often bear an even brunt. Frequently marginalized and overlooked, these groups face heightened risks of violence and abuse in the chaotic aftermath of weather disasters. These insights, while disturbing, are crucial in shaping policies and interventions that can mitigate such violations and protect the most vulnerable among us. Even more distressing, sexual and gender minorities often bear a greater brunt due to their frequent marginalization. But climate change doesn't stop at exacerbating societal issues. Indeed, this pervasive global challenge is impacting every sector of human life, including the most surprising areas. You may have never thought about it, but its influence has even extended into the realm of sports and leisure activities. One such example of this unexpected intersection of climate change and daily life is found in the world of professional baseball, a beloved pastime that has seen significant changes due to our warming planet. In the American Major League Baseball, for instance, a fascinating phenomenon has begun to reveal itself over the past decade. As reported by CNN in a comprehensive study, there is a surprising correlation between rising temperatures and increased home run rates. The data shows that since the year 2010, over 500 home runs have been directly linked to unusually warm temperatures. This figure may seem inconsequential, but it is a startling testament to the pervasive effects of climate change. The science behind this surprising connection is quite straightforward and involves basic principles of physics. Warmer temperatures result in less dense air. The air is less dense. There are fewer particles for the ball to push against as it cuts through the air. This reduced resistance allows batted balls to carry farther, leading to an increase in the number of home runs. To understand this, imagine a baseball player hitting a ball on a particularly hot day. The increased temperatures thin the air, providing less resistance to the ball's flight. This allows it to travel further than it would on a cooler day, potentially turning what would have been a simple hit into a spectacular home run. If we consider the current rates of global warming, these effects on baseball are expected to become more pronounced. The evidence suggests that should temperatures continue their upward trajectory, we could see climate change being responsible for a substantial percentage of all home runs. According to the same study, if things stay as they are, climate change could account for 10% of all home runs by the end of the century. This might seem like a trivial consequence of a major global crisis, but it serves to highlight how climate change transforms even the most unexpected aspects of our lives, from our collective societal struggles to the trajectory of a baseball. In conclusion, the effects of climate change are far-reaching and often unexpected, influencing nearly every facet of our existence, ranging from societal issues to sports. This issue, which extends its roots from the micro-level interactions of organisms with their habitat to the macro-level patterns of global weather, is a testament to the interconnectedness of our world. It is an intricate dynamic that has far exceeded the realm of being a mere environmental concern, transforming into a matter of socio-economic and political importance. The studies we discussed today are not merely academic exercises, but a clarion call to action. These investigations and reports, painstakingly compiled by researchers and scientists from across the globe, underscore the immediate need for comprehensive strategies to combat this escalating problem. They highlight the urgency of this global issue, thus bringing to light the unwavering fact that our actions or lack thereof have consequences that ripple across time and space. Encased within this urgency is the call for proactive measures. These measures entail designing and implementing interventions that prevent gender-based violence during disasters, a deep-rooted social issue that is often exacerbated by climate change-induced catastrophes. Our societies are often left unprepared for the fallout, making it crucial to establish these interventions. Also involve considering changes to sports scheduling and infrastructure, as the physical world we live in continues to change. Sport, an aspect of our lives integral to our identities and cultures, is far from being immune to the effects of climate change. Changing weather patterns and rising temperatures threaten the very essence of many sports, making it essential to adapt our practices to ensure their continued existence. This might mean altering the calendar of sports events, making infrastructural changes to sports facilities, or even rethinking the manner in which these sports are conducted. As we move forward towards an uncertain future, it's important to remember that our actions today will determine the world of tomorrow. Every decision we make, every policy we enact, has the potential to shape the future of our planet. With that weight on our shoulders, we must commit to making the necessary changes for the sake of our planet and future generations. They call for proactive measures, such as implementing interventions to prevent gender-based violence during disasters and considering changes to sports scheduling and infrastructure. Climate change is a complex issue, and its consequences are not always immediately apparent. It's a problem that weaves its tendrils into the fabric of our existence, insinuating itself into every nuance of daily living. There's not a corner of our world that remains untouched, not a sphere of human existence that remains unscathed. From the air we breathe, riddled with damaging pollutants, to the food we consume, grown in increasingly volatile conditions, climate change impacts us in the most fundamental ways. As we go about our lives, pursuing our ambitions and dreams, we are unconsciously navigating a world that is constantly shifting under the weight of an escalating environmental crisis. Our understanding of this issue expands with each passing day, with every new research paper published, with every narrative of environmental catastrophe that we bear witness to. The science is clear. The Earth is warming, glaciers are melting, sea levels are rising, and weather patterns are becoming more unpredictable. The interconnectedness of these phenomena reveals a stark picture of a world in crisis. This crisis affects not only our physical environment, but also our social fabric. It threatens our health, our communities, our economies. It exacerbates inequalities, disproportionately affecting the most vulnerable among us. It sparks conflict over resources and fuels mass migration. It challenges our very notions of progress and growth, forcing us to rethink our consumption patterns and economic models. The more we learn, the clearer it becomes that this is not a distant threat, but an immediate reality. Every new piece of information draws us closer to the grim understanding of the scope and scale of this crisis. We are seeing the effects of climate change, not in abstract scientific models, but in our everyday realities. Rising temperatures, increasingly frequent and severe natural disasters, loss of biodiversity, all bear testament to a world in flux. As this understanding deepens, the call to action becomes more potent. It echoes in the halls of power, resonates in the hearts of activists, reverberates through communities grappling with the effects of climate change. It's a call that transcends and ideologies, reaching out to every individual, every organization, every government. a call demanding change, urging action, imploring a response. Indeed, the time is now. Our collective futures are at stake. The urgency is palpable, the demands clear. We need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, transition to renewable energy, adapt our agriculture and infrastructure to withstand the impacts of climate change. We need to mobilize, to unify, to act. It's a call we all must heed for our sake and for the sake of future generations.